Guys, it is the final crunch time, leveling to 60 as fast as possible, locking in so that we can get all the rewards that being first to 60 has to offer. If you want to hit 60 first, this is the guide for you because it's exactly what I plan to do. To hit 60 fast so I can get all the riches and benefits of being level 60 early. You're probably wondering though, why bother hitting level 60 so fast? After all, the world bosses don't come out until the 18th, and Molten Core isn't out until the 25th. Really, if there was a single time to enjoy the journey in Classic, it seems like it would be the start of Phase 4. But for me, being level 60 early, it means I get to control the server. Whether it's the Devil Star Mafia, whether it's the Blackrock Eruption event, being level 60 means you control the economy, you dominate the server. We all know the saying, exploit early, exploit often. If you want to get your Epic Mount, your Hand of Rag, your Thunder Fury, getting level 60 really early on is going to put you in a great position to get those items. Before we talk hitting 60 really fast though, I want to briefly cover the 1 to 50 meta because it has shifted drastically in Phase 4. The reason the 1 to 50 meta has shifted so much is that incursions are now daily quests. So starting from level 1, you'll still want a quest from 1 to 25, and you can use the free Rested XP route to do that. Then while you're questing from 1 to 25, I'd also recommend throwing in a quest run for either RFC for Horde or Dead Mines for Alliance. This is also the time where you'll definitely want to do the Cozy Sleeping Bag questline. I'd recommend around level 15 to 20. The reason we want to do that quest is that you're going to get 8 student fodder, which are going to be very relevant in the level 60 push. So at level 25, then you can add in the Duskwood dailies every single day. And you can also start doing BFD every day as well. In between the dailies, I'd also be questing. I'd be doing the Ashen Veil daily, and I'd also be doing as many SM spam runs as I can. If you did the Ashen Veil PvP daily event enough times to get to Friendly, at level 38 we can start the Ashen Veil dailies. In between the Ashen Veil incursion dailies, you can also run Nomergon as well. Then from 38 to 50, you're doing Zul'Farrak spam, you're questing, you're doing the incursions, and ideally you're doing Nomergon if you can find the groups. At 50 though, that's where the meta completely shifts. Until level 52, we have all of our incursion dailies to take advantage of. And so for Horde, I'd be focused on Feralis incursions, while Alliance are focused on Hinterlands. In between the incursion dailies, you have 2 different options for leveling, and they both have big advantages and big disadvantages as well. Your first option is open world questing with a route from, say, Rested XP or Guidelime. The second option is dungeon spam. It's going to be a little bit faster, less stressful in my opinion, but there are some big disadvantages to it as well. So let's talk questing first. The obvious benefits of questing: you don't have to rely on any other players. The 50% leveling boost means you don't have to get stuck in a zone for very long. But the real secret benefit is that you can do all sorts of pre-BiS grinding. You can do all sorts of attunements as well while you're leveling. Some of the attunements and pre-BiS grinds, they do require you to weave in and out of different dungeons, but still, if you can manage it, you could really save a lot of time. You could, for example, get started on the 14-part Onyxia attunement for the Horde. That's definitely something that a lot of people are going to dread doing at 60. You could also do the Molten Core attunement, which the rest of your guild will be stuck doing at level 60. Another questline you could do, which is essentially an attunement, is the Echo questline. Everybody at level 60, if they want to farm or use echoes, they're going to have to do that questline. If you prioritize questing, you can also knock out some really annoying questlines, like the one for the Mark of the Forge Ring. That In Dreams questline is going to take a bunch of hours at level 60 if you don't get it done earlier. But let's say you really want to rush level 60 so you can, say, farm some Dark Runes, or blast Alterac Valley. Well, the other option is dungeon spam. Most players, once they're level 52, they're going to start spamming Blackrock Depths. Then at 56, you'd move over to Lower Blackrock Spire, which is exactly what my group plans to do. You would stay at Lower Blackrock Spire until level 60, at which point you would start your pre-BiS and your attunement grind. The reasoning for these specific dungeons, it comes from a chart from Sherpa. It showed the average mob level per dungeon. I'll link it below the video. So as for why we're going to be doing dungeon spam, there are really 3 major reasons. First, with our Dungeon Cleave group, we'll be able to hit level 60 a lot faster than questers, at least if you have a speed leveling group like we do. Second, it'll be really consistent XP. We're not going to have to worry about overcrowding or ganks, and we can also run full consumes and world buffs without having to worry about losing them. The third and most important reason, though, is that we don't want to miss the Blackrock Eruption event. This is the event that's going to be happening every 2 hours starting at midnight, and it takes place all around the Thorium Point questing hub. The current estimates from the PTR put doing the Blackrock Eruption event at least 85,000 experience in about 30 to 45 minutes. On top of that, though, we were getting over 2,000 Thorium Brotherhood and Hydraxian Waterlord rep, so it's really important for maxing your reps as well. The idea would be to finish up our BRD run, for example. Then we hearth to Kargath, we finish up all the different daily quests, and then we go back to leveling. So while we're in the Blackrock Mountain, leveling as fast as we can, we're really going to be taking advantage of some key consumables as well. Going into our dungeon spam, we're really going to try to have full world buffs, just like we would in Sunken Temple. Then we're going to try to have full speed and damage consumes, your mongoose, your major mana pots, your sappers. As a healer, I've also stockpiled a ton of jungle durian, because that's really going to cut down our drinking time. Meanwhile, we're really going to focus on masterwork target dummies on CD as well, because that's really going to cut down on the damage taken and speed up our pull times. There is one last consumable we'll be using though, and it's the most important by far for leveling speed. Starting at around level 56, when I head to Lower Blackrock Spire, that's when I'm going to start using my student fodder item. That's the item that gives you 20% rested experience, but it comes with a really major catch. The catch is that you get the same number of bars of XP no matter what level you are, so it's much higher value to use at a high level like say 59. The problem is that you can only use one every 30 minutes. If you did the Sleeping Bag questline and the Rainbow Generator questline, you'll have 11 of these student fodders. So the idea would be to start using them 5.5 hours before you hit level 60. That to me would be around level 56, so it's going to vary based on your leveling speed. So ideally you hit level 60, you don't have any student fodders left hopefully, and it's time to start your pre-BiS grind and your attunement grind. So by now, we've laid out the two different options you have for leveling to 60 as fast as possible. There's the option where you quest, you do some of your attunements, your pre-BiS grinds. Then there's also the option where you blast dungeons as hard as you can, and you go back and you do those attunements later on. Personally, that's the exact option I'm going for, but I'm really curious what you plan to do for Phase 4 leveling. Do you plan to do the same exact thing for your main and your alts? Because for me, I want to quest on my alts, so I don't have to worry about getting the attunements down at 60. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to keep it here and subscribe, because we've got so much more Phase 4 content coming. And click on my ultimate DPS tier list for Phase 4 next, so you can pick the perfect alt, or maybe just your main if you haven't decided yet.